Welcome to this week's Insiders Elite. Jamie, it's been a huge week. This week we got an awesome topic, something that we both are quite passionate about and really love. Tell us all about it.
Oh man, we're going to get in deep. First of all, everyone, welcome to the show this week. Yeah, Mick and I, we got chatting a little bit earlier this week. It's like, what are we going to talk about? What are we going to get in here? It's like, well, you know what? We've been putting on the show a little while. We've been doing some things, and people have been starting to get to know us. We're starting to get comments, and we're like, well, what did we have to do to get here? And we came back to the whole know, like, and trust factor. So we're going to talk a little bit about that whole know, like, and trust factor, creating that brand for yourself out there. And we're not talking logos. We're talking actual brand of who you are, what's going to be able to get you in the door easily and effortlessly with more clients that you've already got right now. I think today's show is going to be absolutely outstanding.
It certainly is, Jamie. And you said there before about know, like, and trust and branding. And branding is about what you stand for. When someone says your name or sees your business logo, what do they instantly think? What do they feel? What does it stand for? Yeah. And that's that know, like, and trust. Whether it's with a brand, with a business brand, or personally, you've got to build that know, like, and trust factor, and it's super important in your marketing to have that down pat.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, look what we've done with the show here. The show is a prime example for it. We don't sell things on here. We don't have advertisers. We don't have marketing. We don't have any of that stuff here, because our brand behind the show was to be able to give back some knowledge, give back some practical skills that we had, especially during this time. I mean, we started the show back in May. So we're coming up on, before too long, it's going to be a year that we've had the show out there. I can't believe how long it's been going on for. But what we've done the whole time is we've begun to build a brand. How do we know that? Because people are coming up to us on social media. They're sharing out, guys, I love your show. I love what you put on. I love what you share. I mean, Mick, you've told me multiple times people have commented. And sometimes, hey, the folks, they're not commenting on the show. We don't see you making the comments on the show. But sure enough, we'll get the DMs. That's what building that brand and creating that know, like, and trust factor is all about. Saying that you're going to do something and going and doing exactly that. That's what it's been for us, sharing tips, sharing tricks, bringing on guests who've got that practical knowledge so that you, the business operator, the business owner, can take those tools and really make that impact in your business.
Yeah, absolutely, Jamie. And I think you said something critical there. Like you know that you're making an impact when you get someone stop you in the supermarket and say, oh, I really love your show last week. It was brilliant. Blah, 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 whatever it was, and it's there, the comments, and you know that you've achieved your outcome because we set out to share business knowledge, to help people, to provide some information, tips, tricks, like you say, for business owners, business operators, and we know you're hitting the mark, or you're building that know, like, and trust when you get those responses, people saying that they love what you're putting out, or they love your show, and that's more and more and more and more as we grow the show. That's what's happening. You get more and more people engage with us, whether it's in person or in social media or DMs, like you said.
Absolutely.
So, Jamie, I've got a question for you. What is one of the key things, if you're starting out, to build your brand, build your know, like, and trust?
I love that question. I'll tell you why. Because when we start from the beginning, as simple as this sounds, everyone knows, yeah, you got to start from the beginning. Of course you do, and you have to know what your purpose is. You have to have some clear definition surrounding exactly what you're going to do. Let's go back to the beginning of the show. Let's go back to the very beginning when you and I first started. Here's a couple guys who were like, yeah, we just attended an event. It's like, hey, what would happen if we went on live, took a little bit of the knowledge that we've been exposed to, because it's just freaking amazing, and what if we started sharing it? Now, from that idea, this show was born. Where you see us today here is all from that one simple, crazy idea. And let's face it, we didn't have any fancy intro in the beginning. There was nothing. It's like, yo, hey, what's up? Here we are on Zoom. It's Mick and Jamie, and we just want to share some of our knowledge out there. We started with the passion in mind, with that absolute passion and the purpose. The purpose is always to share valuable insights, business skills, business tools, business tips. What have we done since then? Sure, we've refined it. We've made it look a little prettier. We've got the fancy backgrounds, all that sort of stuff, using StreamYard here that we like, that works out really well. But the premise and the purpose of the show has never changed. It's always to provide valuable tips, valuable tricks, and insights into exactly what it is that you can use as a small business operator owner to take and grow and scale your business. See, we've always stayed on point. So if there's one place that you may want to go ahead and start from, it's recognizing what's the purpose of your brand? What are you here to do? What is the purpose for the existence of your company? When you get that clear, and look, this can take some time. I'll share a little story here. My purpose evolved from Date with Destiny with Tony Robbins. So Date with Destiny, of course, just finished up here just earlier this week. Just finished up, just absolutely amazing, outstanding. And it was the first virtual Date with Destiny that they've done. So definitely a new experience. My journey started with Date with Destiny and understanding what my own purpose was. And that purpose is I Jamie Adamchuk, see, hear, feel, and know that my ultimate life's purpose is to be an unstoppable force for good, empowering both myself and others to live a life that's free from unnecessary suffering now while enjoying a loving, beautiful, peaceful relationship with my wife. See, that was my purpose. Now, what's great about this purpose, and even though that, doesn't sound very business-like, it's like, Jamie, you're getting personal here. This is a business show. I want to tell you why this is important. This is important because from that sole core purpose of who I am as an individual and as a being, my business purpose formed out of that. Everything that I do in business, in the show here with Mick, you and I, everything that I do in some way, some shape or form relates back to that personal purpose of myself. What's the suggestions I would give? Start to look at your brand as a whole. What are you all about? Who is it that you serve? What is your purpose? What is your business's purpose for existence? I think when you've got that, you can really start to create that branding. How does that answer the question, Mick? What do you think of that?
It does. It hits the nail on the head, Jamie. And having that purpose really clear, so you know what your brand stands for, or what the outcome is of the show. What's the purpose of it? Like for us, we knew what the purpose of our show was, which was to help other business people to share tips and tricks. And we're doing that, which is why it's genuine and authentic, because we know our purpose. And it doesn't matter whether it's your personal purpose or your business purpose or whatever. They need to be aligned, but you need to know what they are. For me, I've also done the same program, Date with Destiny. I didn't do the virtual one just now. I did a live one a few years ago. And for me, it's to be loving and to grow myself and others. So as long as I'm helping people grow and develop, and I'm loving, whether it's my family or the people around me, that's my purpose. That's it. Nice and short. I take my hat off to Jamie because he memorized that purpose. It's clearly 100% embedded because he said that without missing a beat. That's having that purpose in the background. Recently talking to another business owner, he said he's doing some marketing redevelopment to do some branding and do some different stuff. And the consultant that he's using started asking every single person, every team member, like what the business means to them, what it stands for, what its purpose is. And he said, like, from the ground up. So she's collating what the business means and the purpose to be able to market that business properly and have that brand stand. So, that's super important that you get that purpose right.
Yeah, absolutely. And the purpose isn't just something you stick on the wall. Yeah, I was able to rattle off my own personal purpose because I've done it hundreds of times. Right? This isn't something that you get some, fancy calligraphy and you write on the office walls some fancy words and stuff that no one knows what it means anyways. That's not what your business purpose is. It's quite the opposite. It is just exactly like you said, Mick. Go around, ask all the people, right? What's important to you? What's life all about for you? What's business all about for you? We start to take all of those results and we start to put them together to really understand. If you haven't done this exercise, and it's something that I train in my Ultimate Business Development Program, if you haven't done this exercise of really nailing it down as to what your purpose is, and you've started your business, you're in business, you're rocking and rolling, now would be a really great time to take your leaders, take all the people in your team, and really start to understand what this business means to them. Now, are some people going to say, the business is about a paycheck for me because I got to support my family? Maybe. But I got to believe that there's actually a bigger purpose there. Why aren't you working? If I'm paying, I don't know, $15, $20 an hour, and if McDonald's paying $15, $20 an hour, why would you choose to work with me versus going to work at McDonald's? They pay the same wage. There's got to be a reason why you're there. Dig deeper than just the paycheck. Dig much deeper than just that monetary reward and start to understand, well, you know what? Hey, maybe it's about advancing the career. really cool little story here. My stepson is going to be coming to live with us for a little bit here. He's a young fella. He's 18. He went to college or university here. Went to uni and all that. But of course, everything's different now. Classes, it's all virtual classes. Many of the professors, they're not technology savvy. They're not really understanding how to work it all, how to do all these sort of things. So he struggled. He's a real hands-on kid. He's like a wickedly smart kid, super, super intelligent kid, but he wants to be interactive. And he found that right now at this point in time where it's all virtual classes, there's no time to talk with the instructors, it's really not working for him. So what he's made the decision to do is to really go and hone in on those skills of what he's ultimately going to be. He's going to uni for like a geological technician, all that sort of stuff. So some big stuff like degree type program and all that. But he's really smart because he's recognized, hey, this method of learning right now isn't congruent with who I am. It's not the way in which I'm going to get the most out of it. But instead of just saying, yeah, well, screw it, I'm going to go work now because, university, college, it's not for me. I'm just going to go work. No, he's like, I'm going to go find a job that's completely related to what it is that I want to do. I'm going to go get some practical experience, some real world, actual practical experience in the field that I want to be in, so that when I go back to uni to go get my degree and all that sort of thing, I've got some of that real world knowledge, right? He's being really smart, and I'm really actually quite excited for him. I think that's going to be a really great thing. He's going to work on purpose. He's keeping true with that part of himself. This is completely, totally relatable to branding. We want to do that work. We want to, create our social media, create everything on purpose, because that's what sets us up for that success. When people can see that congruency with what we say and what we do, when people see that, they get the know, like, and trust factor. They get to really, truly believe that we are congruent with that purpose. And guess what? They come.
You're 100% right, Jamie. And you said something really key there, is doing it on purpose. Doing it aligned with your purpose, but doing it on purpose. Making those decisions consciously about, this is my purpose, this is where I'm heading, this is who I am, and acting congruently with all of those in the direction you want builds that know, like, and trust in the brand or in you personally or in the way you do business. It puts all that together, and that's one of the key things. Is consciously being aware of your purpose and being aligned with that, doing it in the right direction, the way you're supposed to do. Once you know your purpose, and you're being true to your purpose and you're aligned, what are one or two things that you can do to help build that know, like, and trust factor in your brand once you're aligned with your purpose and you're congruent?
Look, many of us starting out, right? Maybe if we're newer business owners, or we've transitioned out, we've been in that place where we've been in the job and it's like, wow, I want to go do my own business. I want to get it out there. Granted, your close friends, your family, sure, they know who you are, but let's be honest, is it really truly just those close friends and family that are going to entirely support your business for the whole life of the business? The answer is no. We've got to get out there. We've got to create that familiarity. Why? Because what is familiar is trusted. Number one thing that we can start to do, and yeah, maybe call me a new age guy. I'm not the guy that wants to go advertise on TV. I'm not the guy that wants to go advertise on radio. And granted, I don't have $50,000 budgets to go blow on that type of advertising. But what am I going to do is I'm going to take advantage of some of the really great social media that we've got out of there. I know my brand. I know what it is. I've recognized that I have to get me and my brand out there. So what do I want to do? I want to get out there and be welcoming to people. I want to create some offers that have a very, very, very low barrier to entry. What does that mean? We're going to give away some free stuff. Now, I know everyone's like, oh, you can't give away free. Your time is worth like $5,000 an hour. I'm going to tell you something about free stuff. Free, honest to goodness, feels good to be able to give it out. Look at the show we're doing, Mick. We're doing this and it's free. We could charge a membership, because quite literally the knowledge that you and I have, it's combined. We're into, I think we calculated out, and we're well over $300,000 of knowledge that we've invested in ourselves, in each of us. And that's the value of the knowledge that people are getting out of this. It's absolutely amazing. What would I do and where would I start from there? Well, number one, I want to get myself out there. I want to get that exposure for my brand and for my product and for my service. So what's a great way to do it? Set something up where you're giving something away for free. Free is cool, right? And if we want some social proof of the whole free thing, if anyone out there's ever watched Gary Vee or seen Gary Vee, what does he tell you to do? Number one thing Gary says to do is if you want to go get some experience in a particular job, a particular trade, doing something, whatever, go do it for free. Go do it for free. What's the free going to do? Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to get you some testimonials. It's going to get you out there, plus what's happening in the background. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I did yesterday. So yesterday, I ran a free social media engagement masterclass. Why? Because the idea just literally came on. I was sitting there, I think it was Saturday or Sunday, and the idea literally lit me up. I'm like, ooh, I've got to go teach some people how to do this. I've got to go share this knowledge and share these tools with some people because it's made a massive difference for me. I want to go share it. And I'm also recognizing two things. Number one, yeah, I'm going to repurpose it. I'm going to take that content and turn it into something else. Maybe it's an evergreen program. Maybe it's an evergreen course or something like that. What's it going to do? It's going to create lead generation for me. Even if it remains a no barrier or very low barrier to entry type program, i.e. free or a very nominal fee, what that's going to do is it's going to get me out there. It's going to get that exposure for me out there. So that's one way to do it. The other thing with me doing that is I love to give. This is going to sound naughty, but I get off on giving. I really seriously do. I love to stand, to deliver. Mick's just laughing away. He's like, what are you talking about getting off on the show? That's not this kind of show. No, what I mean about that is quite literally just giving, right? Giving is really the secret to living. It's absolutely true. So that's why I do a lot of what I do. Now, we've got to recognize there comes a time between giving and there comes a time between making your business successful. Do I have some stuff? Yes. And here's the secret why I want to share. I don't want to talk numbers, but I'm going to share the power and the impact of being able to give. Last month, I ran my business development bootcamp. And again, I have a no barrier to entry. Well, there's a slight little barrier in that, attendees, they have to sign a little bit of a waiver and stuff that basically says, yes, I commit to playing full out. Yes, I'll give you a testimonial, either a video or written, and yes, I'll refer you to people. That's it. That's the only barrier to entry. Now, some people say, oh, I'm not going to sign this. Okay, then you're not the right person to work with me, right? You're not the right fit for my company, for my training. Thank you so much. Have a great day. I'm okay to do that. I put on this program. I put on this training, and it was free. I had, 13, 14 people were in it. It was really great, but I'll tell you what came of that free. Let's just say what came of that free, and it legitimately was free for these people. There wasn't even a deposit. There was nothing. It was straight up actual free. But what came of that for me is almost all the way to 6 figures from that free. Now, let me ask you, the viewers, everyone out there, would it be worthwhile for you to step well towards a 6-figure goal simply by setting something up that you could actually donate? It was 2 weeks worth of my time. Was the information impactful? Oh, you better believe it was impactful. It's some absolutely epic, incredible information. What did it do for me? Because people got to see me. They got to see the congruency of me, who I am, how I serve, and along with that brand. My brand is me. I am my brand. When I got to be able to do that, to step up, to produce all this content, people were quite literally, oh my God, how can I keep working with you? And that's how it turned out to me. So what would I suggest? I know that was a really long answer to your question, Mick. What would I suggest for the next part is getting yourself out there, getting some of that exposure, right? Utilize the social media, get out there and show people that your word really, truly is your bond.
Jamie, and you said some really, really key points there. And one of the things you said about giving things for free is just adding value to the relationship. The relationship. If you want a relationship to be valuable, then you need to add value to it. So Jamie said an absolute key thing there. He gives stuff away for free. One, it feels good and it gets him off, but it feels really good to give things away for free. He's adding value to the relationship. He wants to add value to the relationship he has with everyone on social media. So he gives stuff away for free. He works with people. He's created boot camps and master classes to give things away for free for people. And yes, there is paid stuff that you can work with him, but he gives it for free and people love working with him. So they're like, well, Oh, how do I work with you some more? Well, I have these other paid programs. You can continue to work with me. Oh, sweet. Let's look into those.
Yeah.
It's not selling. It's showing people what you're capable of. It's adding value to them seeing immense value in what you do, and then wanting to work with you. And like I said, Jamie said, it's a business. So he is growing a business, but it's giving things away for free, adding value to the relationship first. So then the relationship then becomes valuable in business. It's absolutely critical that you add value to a relationship first before you try to take value out of it.
Yeah. And here's something key. If I could just tag in for a second here, this isn't to toot my own horn or anything like that, but I mean, many of you know I worked with the Tony Robbins group of companies, one of the #1 coaching, training, mentoring programs in the entire world. Do I really need to go give free stuff? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to absolutely say yes, because #1, it fulfills a need within me, my need for contribution. I love doing it. And #2, it really continues to build that know, like, and trust factor. Yes, I've done well over 7,000 paid coaching calls, more than most people in the world. I've done that stuff. I've done more than 1,000 paid training hours, standing, delivering training in front of people. I love it. But I'm not going to just go rest on those laurels. I'm not going to go to the place and say, yeah, well, you know what? I've done all that shit, so you got to pay me a whole ton of money. I believe it's my duty and my responsibility to actually give back. And that's what makes it a difference. And when I say duty and responsibility, I don't look at that as a negative thing. I think of it as an honor that I do get to do that sort of stuff. I just finished a book by Oren Klaff, Flip the Script. It's just over in the bookshelf there. And one of the things, you know, he's pretty well-paid fella there. He's got tons and tons of cash. And one of the things that they're expected to do in Silicon Valley is to go ahead and give back. Go ahead and donate their time, donate their knowledge and all that through mentorship programs. It is an expectation within that. Now, I'm not in the multi-billion-dollar club yet, working on it, but quite literally, who says I can't start being a part of that mentorship program right now, that I can't start giving that stuff out right now? Here's the other thing, though, and I'm going to share something else here, because I believe there's a fine line between giving something away, giving too much away, and people recognizing the value on it. So I'm going to ask you a question, Mick. How do you know when, say, someone offers you something for free, how do you know that it's really good value? What's the key indicator for you to let you know that?
That's a brilliant question, Jamie. How do I know if there's value in it? So for me, someone offers you something for free, say your business development boot camp. It has to, be something you need. So for me, I look at it and go, is this something I need? Where will this make a difference in my life? What impact? So for me, I look at what impact could that make? So when you're giving something away for free, you need to show the impact that it's going to make. So for me, Jamie's social media masterclass, which happened earlier today or yesterday. Wow, my social media game is pretty rubbish. I'd really benefit from just a few tips or tricks to boost my engagement. I could see some value in that. Awesome. How long is it? It's an hour and a half of my time. Yeah, I think that's worth the investment for my time, because everybody's time is valuable, and how much value you put on your time will determine how much value you see out of that. So yeah, it's worth an hour and a half of my time to boost my social media engagement. It has an impact for me. And then I just do, what's the impact? What's the time investment for me for it? Yeah, it's worthwhile. That's how I weigh it up. But the key part of that is I've got to be able to see the impact it's going to make in whatever it is, the need that I need. So social media, or your business development bootcamp, or whatever it is, a free ebook, or, whatever it is. But that's the key thing, is when you market it, it's got to be able to clearly show what impact it's going to make. Yeah,
absolutely. Marketing's key. Right? For myself, for the business development bootcamp, what are you going to do? You are going to at least double your business productivity. When you follow the things that I train in the business development bootcamp, you will double your business productivity. That's my great big guarantee. That's my absolute certain confidence behind it. What's going to happen with the social media masterclass? I guarantee you that when you apply these simple principles, and it was like, I think it was an hour and 15 minutes. That's it. It was just an hour and 15 minutes. When you apply some of these principles in here, you can quite literally expect to double, triple, if not quadruple your overall impact in social media. Now, for some of us, that's pretty easy. We get 1 or 2 likes and we get 1 or 2 comments. So it's pretty easy to double, quadruple. even for some of us out there who are getting that great traction, you put some of these tips, tricks, and stuff in place, and it's really there to grow that business. Now, I had some questions surrounding it. It's like, well, Jamie, you're the business guy, right? You talk business. You're all about business, 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 business. Why would you get into that whole social media thing? You're not the social media guru. No, you know what? I'm not the social media guru. But the reason I put that on is because it's a really key piece of optimizing and maximizing your business exposure. One of the things that we want to do, Mick, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. We want to get that exposure for your business out there. Social media happens to be a really great way to do it. Do I love social media? I'm an absolute hacker in social media. And no, I don't. It's why I have a VA help me out. I've got an amazing, incredible VA that's helping me out, that's really taking a lot of that pressure off me, because let's face it, I can't do it all myself. Right? She's an integral part of my business. Remember, the one thing for all of us that attended Kerwin's, scale equals freedom. Scale equals freedom. Me scaling up, it can be something as simple as getting on a VA. Now, I'll talk a little bit about a VA because I'm passionate about this, because I've seen the impact that it's had in my business. What is my VA helping me do? She's helping me increase the know, like, and trust factor. She's engaging on my chats and all that, actually interacting with my people, because what that does is it creates that connection, right? I can't do it. This here, me standing and delivering right here, right now with you, Mick, this is me in my zone of genius. This is what I absolutely fucking love to do. This is what I was born for, is to stand, deliver, to do this here. It's not to be on the phone doing chat sequences and stuff. It's really not. Now, are chat sequences important for business growth? Absolutely. Here's what's great about it. We're going to come back to business continuity for a minute. The continuity between your message, your brand, the know, like, and trust factor, and the information that you're putting out. Because what had to happen when I got my VA on board is, before she did anything, she said, look, I've got to watch you for a little bit. I'm like, what? No, just go to work. She goes, no, I've got to watch you for a little bit so that I can understand your message, so that I can understand, what it is, who it is you serve, how you serve, your language patterns and all that. And I really absolutely love that. So it sounds kind of funny, like you just paid this person to go and just watch you. Yes, I did. Because what that's going to do for me is it's going to make a significant difference towards the brand and continue the know, like, and trust factor that I've already established out there. Whether it's my VA on there chatting away, or whether it's myself on there, doing the chat, because I will jump on there as well. The message, the structure behind the message and everything is going to be the same. There's some really, really, really key points here. But yeah, social media, why? Why? Because you're the business guy, not the social media guy, because it helps me to grow my business, that exposure for my business, which ultimately sets me up to gain even more clients.
Jamie, and like you say, and giving back, adding value, you found the impact those things made on your business, and you want to share that out to other business owners so it can make an impact on them. Like you say, you can double, triple, quadruple. And I know a guy who went to your masterclass and implemented one of the tricks. He had something 400 comments or something on the one technique he used, and like exploded.
Yeah.
So the engagement level is through the roof. So, and that was just the one of the tips that Jamie shared in the masterclass.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not only is it, like it does help and it's really important. And no, Jamie's not the social media guru, but he's learned some stuff and he wants to share that out. It made an impact for him. Share that out.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
Yeah. You said something in that little bit about your VA, that she watched you and she had to get to know you, and so that the message was the same. That's super important. And again, I was speaking to another business owner last week about what he's doing in his business, and he's getting a marketing consultant, and she has literally spent months getting to know the business, what the purpose is, so that the message is aligned with the business, the website, the branding, everything is aligned with what they stand for, as opposed to coming in, they know everything, they're going to develop some ads for you. They spent the time to get to know the business, so that the branding and the messaging is 100% clear. And that's absolutely critical. And that whether it's your VA sharing your message or whether it's a marketing agency, they must get to know you first, so that the purpose and the messaging is what your business stands for.
Absolutely. I think the next piece there, so what we've covered so far, we got to have a purpose. We've got to be working on purpose. And we've got to make sure that we're always working towards our purpose, that what we're doing is congruent with the purpose. Next, we want to get ourselves out there. We want to get that exposure. But here's the thing, and this is the third part. If we're not doing it on a constant, consistent basis, are we going to get that exposure? What happens, and have you ever seen this, Mick, where someone's gone, they've started, they've got out there, they got a little bit of following, got a little bit of traction, and all of a sudden fallen right off the cliff? What typically happens with those businesses?
They quite often die.
Yeah.
Which is this 96% of all businesses die in the first 5 years or something astronomical. They go off great guns and then they fall because they don't have their purpose and they don't put themselves out there. And then the next part of what Jamie said is being consistent. Yeah. Being successful in business isn't about doing one thing well. It's doing one thing well over and over and over and over again. Yeah. Whatever your one thing is that you do well, that you get out there and do for the market, do that over and over and over again consistently. Then, like you say, Gary Vee says scale equals freedom, or Cohen Ray even says scale equals freedom. Okay. So do it over and over and over again, then fill someone else and over and over again and replicate. So it's about successful in business. So you've got to know your purpose, building know, like, and trust. You've got to put yourself out there, but then you've got to do it consistently. You can't just put yourself out there once, because that small group of people will see you once and that'll be great, but then no one else will see you for the next 6 months. Yeah. So you've got to be consistent.
Yeah. And that's something even for myself. I mean, my email list and stuff, I suck at sending that out on a consistent basis. I'll totally put my hand up here and say that I lack that consistency surrounding that, getting emails out in a timely manner and all that. Why? Because I haven't prioritized it. Now, maybe this is something that my VA ends up helping me with, or maybe I get another VA, whatever the case is. But the fact of the matter is I still have ample opportunity for improvement in this. So consistency is key. Same thing with the podcast and stuff. I mean, I stepped away from the podcast. I had a little challenge around my intro music and stuff like that. So I had to land on some new music. I actually got some new music licensed up, and I'm really juiced about that. So I threw out since July, I finally put a new podcast episode out on Monday. So I'm pretty jacked about that. It's got the new intro music and all that in there. But what you can do is really give yourself a schedule, right? What does that mean? It means, not scheduling everything and not having every single minute of every single day scheduled in. I was reading something there, Elon Musk. He schedules every 5 minutes, or every 5 minutes. Each piece is broken into 5 minutes. Now, he might take 5-minute chunks and do a 25-minute task, but everything, he's got it broken down into 5 minutes. I don't suggest doing that. I really, really don't. What we're looking to do, because most people, we're not that great at scheduling. We've got these to-do lists, right? To-do lists don't get to done. It's just a fact. To-do lists, for the most part, don't get to done. What we want to do is transform that process and begin to schedule it in. Why do I say that? Because consistency is bred from being able to take those tasks and make sure they're scheduled. Whether it's a social media content calendar. Look at us. Here, let's talk about, bring it back to brand, bring it back to this show. For the most part, in North America, we're here on Friday. In Australia, we're on Saturday morning, right? We do this on a constant, consistent basis, except for next week in a couple of weeks, but we'll talk about that closer to the end of the show. We've got a little change in schedule come, over the Christmas holidays and stuff. But really, seriously, give yourself a schedule, whether it's saying, okay, I'm going to do these couple posts here, 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 and here. I know Gary Vee says, hey, you got to have your 64 pieces a day. Most of us, it's not realistic for us to do that 64 pieces a day. Or maybe that's just a limiting belief. I'll let you decide that. Quite honestly, though, as long as you've got something going out where you're engaging your people. What's my Friday post for me? It's here right now. I'm doing it. I'm doing my Friday post live right now. This is going on my page. Same thing for Mick, right? Saturday, this is his consistent piece of content that for the most part goes out every single Saturday. The post, I typically do them a day in advance to let everyone know. So there's a little bit of Thursday content. We're not looking to overwhelm social media with, 20 or 30 different pieces in a day. We want to get that one poignant message out there and make sure that it absolutely sticks. The best way to do that is allow it to have a little bit of traction. Scheduling, consistency, all that drives your brand exposure. That builds that know, like, and trust factor because people begin to see that consistency. You said it earlier, Mick, we were talking about, people walking up to you in the supermarket and stuff. It's like, hey, I really love your show. They know now. They've come to rely on that consistency. So they watch for it, they look for it. And even if they're not getting it at that time, maybe they go home and they watch it later or whatnot. I know you and I, we see the views just through the roof. And it's oftentimes not on the live show, but it's afterwards when people have some time in the evening, whatever it is, we see those numbers really tend to skyrocket.
Absolutely.
The next piece of that to really solidify that brand. We've got setting your purpose. We've got getting yourself out there. We've got doing it on a constant, consistent basis, setting yourself up with a schedule. What else would you share to give our viewers, our listeners, some real tips on creating that congruency with brand?
So probably the last piece of that is, like you say, you got your purpose, you're putting yourself out there and you're doing it consistently. And then the last piece I would say would be to engage with your community. So it's all great putting yourself out there and you being consistent, and whether it's marketing your bricks and mortar business, putting out regular Facebook ads or Google ads or whatever you do consistently. But if nobody ever engages with the people who look at your ad or watch our podcast or watch our show or listen to your podcast, if there's never any engagement, then they don't feel connected. So the next part of that is to engage with the people that are watching you or sharing your content or your viewers or whatever it is, so that they build a connection. Because it's great, they go, oh, I love the show. Then you can build a connection with them, whether it's for whatever business it is, but they can build a connection with you and your brand.
Yeah, I love that. I'm going to say something here. I'm going to say, don't be a shitbird about it either. If you're putting out some content out there and you're doing it and you've got people, making comments and stuff, take the time to actually, respect them. Take the time to write those people back, because they've taken the time to make that comment on your post, on your video, your live, whatever it is. Take the time to actually write them back so that they can see that you've respected them. They've taken that time, and it might be just 3 quick emojis or whatever it is, boom. Nonetheless, they've taken that time. I mean, we've got some comments on the screen here. What Mick and I always do after the show, we'll end up going in and each of us are going to comment on all the comments that are on the, that are in the show here. We make it a point, because if someone's taken their time to actually put that out there to share it, the least we can do is say, hey, you know what? Thank you so much for the comment. Like, that's awesome. Really, totally appreciate it. It's the absolute least that we can do. And you, if you're that content creator, I would suggest that it's probably the absolute least that you can do as well. And that's why I say don't be a shitbird, because there's a lot of people, they talk the talk, they talk the talk, they talk the big talk and all that, but they don't walk the walk. I've seen it. I've seen it in major corporations. I've seen it in so many different things. Probably too many things to list. I don't want to focus on the negative here. But what I do want to say is, if you want to go and get those clients, if you want to go bring those people in, create that know, like, and trust factor, have them coming back, have them watching you so that they can say, you know what, Mick, you're a trusted dude. I see you on the show each week. You send out valuable content. I see your social media blowing it up. You're sharing pictures of colorful hairdos and all that sort of stuff. I love that one, by the way. Absolutely. I love that. He's sharing the content out there, and what's he doing? He's making sure he's taking a concerted effort to reply to every comment, to love, to care, to LOL, to really put some meaningful interaction in that. Because after all, the first word in social media is social.
Absolutely.
We want to be social. We want to stick to that. When you respect someone, when you show that someone that, you know what, hey, I thank you so much for your time, for your contribution to liking my post, to commenting on the post, it's going to go a really, really, really long way. I just absolutely love that.
Yeah, and you're 100% right, Jamie. Whether it's on social media or with your brand, it is absolutely imperative that you engage with the people that interact with you or your brand or your business, or, like someone comes into your store. Mm-hmm. Do you say, hey, thanks for coming in, how are you today? Or do you just sit there silently behind the counter? The experience they have, yes, they may still buy one thing from you from your shop, but when they leave, they'll go, oh, geez, it was a bit ordinary in that shop. I got me a box of soap for the present, but it wasn't very welcoming. Or when you walk into the shop and they're like, hey, thanks for coming in, have a chat to them, engage socially. Like, I loved going to that shop. Have you been to that new store down the road? Because you engage with the people that interact with your business or with your social media or with it. The same applies in business as it does on social media. You need to engage with the people who interact with you or your brand. If you don't, people will have a terrible experience when they interact with your brand.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Wow. That was a ton today. We've gone through 40 minutes already. It seems like we just got started and stuff here. We've got a slight change of schedule over the next few weeks. So, of course, for me here, the one of the Fridays is the 25th. That's, of course, Christmas. We won't be doing a show. That's the 26th for you, Mick. And then the following week it's January 1st here, January 2nd for yourself there. We're not doing a show that week, but next week we've got a little bit different timing in. Tell us about that.
Because it's Christmas, I'm going to be going away on holiday, so we're going to do the show a day early, so that we can still deliver, still be consistent. So we're going to do it on a Friday. So it'll be a Friday for me. We haven't set the time. It'll probably be the same sort of time, I imagine, Jamie.
I think so.
Yeah. So 8 a.m. Friday for me, and it'll be
2 p.m. Pacific time on Thursday here. So
So we're just going to do it a day early next week, and then we'll have a couple of weeks break. And when we come back after that in the new year, we'll have a ton of content to share. So it'll be fantastic.
Absolutely. I'm excited about that. And we'll give you a little bit of homework today. You, the viewers, you, the listeners, a little bit of homework today. Start to think over this break. Start to think over this amazing Christmas holiday and stuff. What is it that you know that you're going to achieve in 2021? Let's face it, 2020 threw us a little bit of a curveball. I don't think for the most part at this time last year, we would have known exactly how this year was going to turn out. Now, see it as the opportunity that it was. Many people evolved. Zoom, I can't even tell you how many multiples they did on their stocks and all that. There was much opportunity during this year. What's the opportunity that you're going to carve out for yourself in 2021? How will you have pivoted? Coming back to a phrase that we started this show out with, we talked about pivoting, right? It was all about the pivot and how you can change and how you can do things. I'm coming back to that now because it's critical. We've learned some huge lessons from 2020. We've learned where we have to be vulnerable, where we have to be able to pivot. Think about it. If you're looking for some key tools, some strategies, we invite you to write those in for us, to share them with us. Let us know what you need to make 2021 the absolute most incredible, audacious, awesome year that it can be for you and your business. We would love to welcome it. Whether it's sending us a DM, you can DM Mick, you can DM myself, whether it's throwing us a comment in a post. Of course, Insiders Elite, the one thing that we're also talking about doing is making this exclusive to Insiders Elite. So you may not be seeing it on our public pages anymore. We'd welcome you to make sure that you've joined Insiders Elite so you can keep receiving this valuable information so that you can take your business to the next level. Mick, last thoughts, my brother.
Last thoughts, like we've gone through a ton here. And like Jamie said, a bit of homework is to just, what do you want to achieve in 2021, and what do you need from us? What do you want to learn? What skills do you think you're going to need to get to where you want to go? And then for us, is Christmas for me is a time of reflection. You get to spend some time with family. So I challenge you all to spend a bit of time over the next few weeks. It's always quite busy leading up to Christmas, but over those Christmas period, take a bit of time to have some reflection about the year that was and where you want to be for next year. So go out and have an amazing weekend, guys. Have an awesome Friday for you guys over in Canada and the US. And we'll be back next Friday.
Absolutely. Look forward to it one day early next week. Until then, have an absolutely incredible, outstanding week. We'll see you soon.